Okay, well, let's put on the headphones on top of microphone. I'm sure this looks very cyberpunk now that I've got headphones on top of VR on top of everything else. I'm going to try to get the audio to be playing properly. Oh, we're adding images. All right, so can we see all that? Yeah, we can see everything. I'm going into animatronics, Figment, development, input. Hello. Let's refresh our files. Can you see anything? No. Alright, I'll try this again. Adding image. Figment, development, input. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the best file would be this one. This came right from WDW. It is a marketing model sheet, which is probably the closest I'm going to get to a character sheet. But I should be able to model pretty well from this. It's got all the essence of Figment and even some animation hint here as to where the bend is happening on that leg. Okay, here we are, and stop playing with that. So I'll be able to look over here. Might be able to put you guys in my viewport. Let me see if I can do that. Desktop. I used to be able to do this. Not that. No, not that. I want to go over to desktop. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay, if I can take this and pin it, I used to be able to pin stuff. Aha. You have to pull it and you put it over here. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys right in over on this side. Well, to me it's on this side. And you probably can't see it. Can you see? Oh wait, hold on. Can you see that? No, you can't see. Nobody's talking to me. I'm talking to myself. Okay, that goes away, and that stays. Yay! Okay, so can you see that? No. You can't see my desktop. Alright, well, I know you're there, and that's the important part. So I'm going to put you in my field of view. I'm putting you right to the left of here. And... oh, it went away. Okay. Let's try this again. Desktop. Oh, you know what? I could just take the stream and put it over there. Let me do that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So if you're following me on Twitch, as that's the probably the only place you're following me right now, I can talk to you on my Twitch channel, Jim Enziello at Twitch. If just in case you happen to be seeing this on my live YouTube channel, I guess some people might be following me there. But I chat on Twitch because it's probably primarily where I should chat. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, so we got that going. I can see that. I need to pin it. Pin. Yes, now it's pinned, I think. And now I can go out of this. Come on, desktop. Okay, and that will stay persistent. And I can leave. No, I can't. I swore they could actually put this in the world. Alright, well, unfortunately I can't keep... I was hoping I'd be able to keep this up. No. Well, that's sad. I thought I had the ability to put stuff that I was on the desktop here in VR. And it's not letting me do it. Yeah, I don't know. Oh well. Okay, so then I was able to... Okay. Now I got it working. Yay. Okay, chat room, and now we have to pick a nice play. It's been so long since I've been in this. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, last time I was in this, I was jeez, I was modeling stuff for a cleft palate simulator. I think that was the last time I made it. That was an interesting project. Okay. Probably could have helped a lot of people with that. I'm just going with a basic color purple. I don't really remember exactly. Oh, well, I can always change that color later. We're not doing painting and stuff in here. We're just gonna do basic basic stuff. All right. So let's see what. Nice thing about this is infinite scale. I love the shaving cream sound effect it makes. Oops. Oh, it's been a while since I've been modeling this stuff. Okay, for the sake of making this easier to animate, or rather create the 3D printed molds and stuff, I'm planning on doing a... I should make it so his head's actually a little bit up so his jaw can come out. Alright, let's see here. Move, swirl. I think I can just grab his whole head and... Yeah, look at that. I love this. This is one thing Yep. So I'm going to make it so that his head is actually a little bit up so that I can take his mouth and... Oh, man, I miss working in voxels. This is such a cool way of working. It's basically like it's the dream that I had as an artist, as a little kid, of being able to just free space, sculpt around, hey, sculpting in three-dimensional space. Like, when I started, it was all about, hey, can you do a 2D drawing with a mouse? All right, you're an artist in a computer. You're a computer artist. Yay. Okay. But yeah, it was a lot of, if you wanted to do 3D, it was just ridiculous. It was like, I tried downloading Pavray, which was a ray tracer, and I got as far as starting to program to build things, and I was like, okay, now how do I make this into an image? How do I render it? And they're like, oh, well, you just have to have the C++, not C++, it was just C. You had to have a C compiler in order to compile the program. And I'm like, I just downloaded this thing on the, I don't even know if it was the internet. Yeah, it was like ARPANET. I downloaded it off of BBS's, I think. And I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to go. And then I think I was in college actually at the time, so I might have had a little bit of internet access. It was 1993. And maybe not the real internet, but like the first iteration of it. Yeah, I should probably wait till later. Okay, he's got that ridge there. And it's definitely different than that. We'll get there. Anyway, so the first thing I wanted to do was just a sphere with a checkered plain background. And the funny thing is, the first thing I did as a graphic artist, as an artist in high school, yeah, it was high school. I programmed a sphere, a chrome sphere, on a checker background with a blue sky and 2 clouds. And I did that all sort of like, it was almost like paint by numbers. I was essentially programming coordinates on a grid and saying I want this block to be this much, this many pixels, this color. I think I did it in BASIC on an Apple IIe. God, that was a long time ago. The fact that I even remember that is just, yeah, not so. But yeah, that was the first thing I ever did, and I wanted to get into 3D at that time. Actually, before then, I had a 386 that my parents were really awesome, and they had no idea what I was trying to get into. I was like, I'd seen Tron when I was 7, and I could not believe, like, I was like just amazed. And I think it came from the point where when I was very young, I had a dream that I had a toy, and I woke up from the dream thinking that I still had that toy, and I was looking around my room and I could not find the toy anywhere. And I was like, well, it was here. I was playing with it, and it was just such a, like, it was so real, and I was just like, well, I want it to be real. And I thought to myself, well, if I could dream it up, then I could obviously have it at one point. All I have to do is get it out of the dream. And I don't know if a lot of kids have that or if everybody has that at one point. But I think there was something about 3D that when I first saw it in Tron, I was like, that's it. That's how I do it. And just from that point on, I was hooked. I was like, I have to learn how to do 3D, how to make my dreams into a reality. That's the way to go about making what I see in my dreams come true. And I'm just like, make dreams come true. And so I get the same, around the same time as I'm seeing Tron and that kind of stuff, I'm going to Epcot on a family, trip, family reunion, and I see Figment. And so it all, like, all this stuff kind of comes together, it's all very similar, very, they're of a piece. And I mean, I knew I wanted to do anything that was 3D. I didn't know if I wanted to make video games, because at the time video games weren't 3D yet. They were still 2D. But I knew, I mean, even in Tron, they were talking about 3D. And I guess there were kind of vector video games that were kind of 3D, but not real 3D. They're not rendered with shaders and stuff. They were just very basic shapes. Okay, speaking of basic shapes. Okay, so we're putting his head back a little bit, so I'll have to make sure I model him this way. But we're definitely going to make that big belly. I guess I just ought to pull this out. Whoop. And I remember having to do polygons, and you're just like, to do something I just did there would have taken a long time. And then I still probably wouldn't have been happy with it, and it would have taken much longer to even fix it, let alone, like, get everything to blend. And I'm sure his legs are way too far apart from each other, but I'm also kind of doing this with the idea of I need to rig this, or I need to be able to put in animatronics, so it's not just going to render well, it's also going to 3D print well to make it so that I can seam it. I'm thinking about doing a rig that has generated that's sort of TPU based, so I'll have to figure out how to get my old Creality to print TPU, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But I have updated the extruder path, so I should be able to get a little bit of. I might be able to get TPU to run through it. This stuff is like working with noodles. Noodles that don't like to have support material, or they need support to the point where it mars and makes the surface look awful if you don't have it, or if you do have it, and if you don't have it, it can't print it. So, and support, if it's very dense, is like it's very difficult to break off. It's not like PLA. Well, yeah, I'm getting my steps in. That's the other thing I miss about like working in voxels means I'm standing up, which is supposed to be good for you. It's like a standing desk, and it's the way, I mean, really the way you work in any art form that's not sitting at a desk. You're usually standing up over a table. At least I'm not hunched over a table. That's another thing that's good about this, because like when you're cutting and scribing, old traditional materials, you're usually over a workbench, and I don't need the back trouble. Back trouble. Okay, that's a nice. I don't know if he has a ridge there. I'm thinking like he has a spine, right? Okay, that's all over the place. Okay, let's not looking at the model. Look at the model. What are you doing? Are you looking at the model? No, I was not looking at the model. Bad Jim. Got like little duck arms here. I'm gonna fix that there. I probably should just get them like accurately placed first and then work on the geometry later. One of the things I also have learned in character modeling is a T-pose is not really a good pose, because very often you want to get a middle of the range pose. Not down at your waist, but also not a T. So sort of they say A, but I don't think A is really necessary. I think just slightly lower than T, because the shoulders don't need to be that far ripped up. And again, this might be for rigging purposes in 3D rigging, not necessarily animatronic rigging, which I assume is different because I haven't really done it yet. At least for soft body mechanics. So we need to be able to have room for and again, I'm also like coming straight out of medical simulation right now, so it's like keeping accurate to patient models or that kind of thing it was very important, because we wanted to make sure we get the anatomy perfect. And now I'm doing like imaginary anatomy, so let's see. Okay, he's got a belly here. My cat is driving me nuts right now. Oh, you know what? Always save as you go. Saving the file, because we just started something new. And it is clear. Figment. Enter. Where are we saving to? There. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll just put them a little bit over there. I was making it very big, but... Yeah, let's see if we can open this mouth up a little bit. Oops. Okay, we're just doing a rough right now, so we shouldn't worry about too much. Yeah, this is pretty low resolution, so you can make a lot of mistakes at this level and not be too worried about, you know, you don't have to be too concerned about how things kind of are coming together. Plus you're gonna do a little here and there. Okay, we'll just leave that there. And I'm gonna block in some eye spots. And actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that to a new layer, and I'll do a boolean just to get a perfect eye socket. Although I think his eyes are definitely not. They're ovals. They're weird. So they're not going to... This is one problem with animation, is that 2D animation and 3D are related, but they are not perfect analogs to each other. His eyes can be really close to each other in one frame. Yeah, they're like right next to each other. And he's got that very oval, like very long, elongated almonds. Yeah, kind of reminds me of Alf. Also the 80s. Interesting. The other day I was looking at Grogo and I was like, Grogo really reminds me of somebody. Something, some other creature. And I was like, and I couldn't quite think of it for a while. And I was like, oh, if you were to shave Gizmo. And I was like, is Gizmo based off of Yoda? With hair? I don't know. I never thought of Yoda as being cute, but Gizmo is definitely cute. Figment, you've got a growth. Okay, it's very, very rough right now. I'm not too happy with what it looks like, but let's just keep going. Are we on model? Good question. How off are we? Very. So I'm just gonna, this is why I'm keeping it low res right now. So I can, wait, am I going off base? No. This is one thing I really don't like about medium, is that you can accidentally go off your symmetry axis and then you can't get it back, or at least I wasn't able to do it before. Maybe the new version. Very, oh, yeah, there was actually a Was it move tool? I think move tool actually works better than adding. Move tool can get better forms like this that are more subtle. Yeah. God, it's been so long since I... Okay, I'm taking these feet out. These suck. Not helping. Let's build that belly first. Actually, let's put the... Oops. Okay, yeah, that's his rear pelvis area, buttocks. Move that down a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to draw some feet. Anyway, as I was saying, I got into 3D because of Tron, and then I started thinking about how I can imagine things because of that dream that I had, and then kind of think it all came together when I went to the imagination station, or the Imaginarium. I think it was called the Imaginarium at the time. That was probably what got me into doing art and thinking that I could probably do that for the rest of my life and be very happy. Although at the time I didn't really, that wasn't actually what I was thinking, but that was the general, like, I think that's it. That's what I want to do. I wish I just kept listening to that instead of like giving into the 80s that was telling me that I needed to go make money and go and me. Which was basically all the kids were being told that and sold that. It was... I don't know how Generation X isn't just all fascists. And sometimes I was like, why do they all become like this? And I was like, oh, actually, maybe that's why. We saw a lot of indulgences of how rich people were living, and that was being modeled as like why you would want to be wealthy. And the funny thing is, I don't want to be wealthy for that reason. I want to be wealthy so I can make the dream that I have come true for me, but also I want to facilitate. So back to that Imaginarium, the exit to the journey to imagination. Where just as you leave, you're inspired by this ride. This ride just takes you on a tour of the concept of human imagination. It was not like we can give you your imagination on the ride that you were riding, but we're not going to let you have it until we're done telling you what it is. I'm just like, the abomination. I'm glad they took some of that aspects. Some of those aspects were in that ride around 1998 when I was working at Epcot, because I went back to go work at Epcot. I liked it so much. And I'm just like, what? Why are they taking away the agency that young artists and people just have about their imaginations? So anyway, I think one of the things that needs to come back is that Imaginarium needs to come back. We need to have the ability to put all the... And that was all the other aspect of it. Let me finish the thought here. The main aspect that was missing, and has been missing ever since they changed it, it has been the idea that you have the agency to use these tools that we're putting in front of you to make cool things that are coming from your imagination. Well, they are not putting those tools that, even the tools like Photoshop, they were putting those tools in front of kids and making them accessible in the 80s. Like they had pens where you could basically do stuff on a screen and watch what you're doing with the pen on the screen, and that blew my mind at the time. And still to this day, a stylus is not an everyday thing that a student in school is going to see. And I see so many 3D printers just sitting there in high schools and middle schools, maybe even in elementary schools now, that were bought 5, 10 years ago, and they just sat there. Nobody knew how to do anything with them, and it's because the production pipeline has to start with A, your imagination, B, actually being able to model things in 3D, and then eventually you get around to printing stuff and having something to print, not just something that somebody else who has an engineering background or is an artist and is working professionally. But if you're just a kid and you're learning, you want to do stuff on your 3D printer, you have to go and download somebody else's stolen video game assets or whatever. And it's, but going back to what's missing from the Journey to Imagination, or the whatever it is now, the Imaginarium was the test bed. It was the, hey, would you like to play with technology that maybe our Imagineers are using? I mean, heck, I think that might have been where a lot of it had come from. Was here's a scaled down, simplified version of what our imagination people, the Imagineers, were using. And I think if you put that in front of kids, they are going to want to make stuff with it. But I think the whole production pipeline of digital could probably not be scaled down, but be made on a level that kids can play with it, like they do Play-Doh, have it on an app. And I mean, that's something I'm definitely interested in building something like that eventually. And of course, I need to know a lot more about, I need to get some VC for that, for sure. But I'd like to go more than, I want to do more than that. I want to do engineering and toy making and that kind of stuff. And I think I'm going to have to work with location-based entertainment people for a while to really get the research that I need to make that work well. Because I don't want to do it half-ass. Okay, I'm getting way too nitty-gritty. Are we in the right? No, we're not. I don't like these skeleton bone looking dry bones. Get rid of the dry bones. It looks like dry bones. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna let's push and prod a little bit. So I have been playing around with AI lately, just to see what's available. There's a 3D modeling AI where you literally put the prompt in and it tries to come up with something. And it's not really good. Not there yet. Oh, I'm almost taking it off axis. Do not do that. Okay, I want to select that. Yes, move that. Let's see here. I heard a... Sorry, I'm down in my feeds trying to see if anybody was talking to me. Anybody talking? Nobody there? Anybody over here? Oh, okay. Alright, well, I'm going to probably wrap this up soon. It's not bad for however long I've been in this thing. Oh, but the thing I was thinking about the Imaginarium, or the end part of Journey to Imagination, would be put in some put in some VR stuff, or put in some stuff that lets you manipulate voxels, because you don't even need VR to do what I'm doing. It helps though. But you could basically just have, you know, this kind of thing where your hands are manipulating a voxel space, and you know, I could be standing in front of a monitor doing this. There's also the ability to start playing with other things, other technologies. I mean, there's music making technologies that they could be putting in there that actually is not just canned music tracks, but are, you know, full synth voice stuff, and you could change the notes, note pitch. I mean, maybe there could be a whole AI exhibit that could be, you know, Wonders of AI, sponsored by Microsoft. Is Microsoft a sponsor of anything at Epcot? It's been a while. I've actually, a long time ago, I had the idea of doing a 3M sponsorship for 3D printing, and it was going to be download a character from the internet, reconstruct it, you know, using wave in front of the screen, kind of getting pieces and parts of the digital version of the character, then have them come out of a vat as a 3D printed character. And then, like, the kids would basically be going on this, and maybe the adults too if they wanted to join. Then outside the exhibit, there could be like a viewing port, which actually has explanations of each step going on. So if you wanted to know the science and the, you know, what's going on behind the scenes, if what they're talking about, the, you know, the dreaming and imagination side of it would be on the inside of the thing, and the outside it'd be like a giant conduit that you're walking through. On the outside of the conduit, you'd be able to look in, maybe down from like a level above it. And I actually even drew all this out as far as pictures back in 1998, and I printed them out on Interventions. What was it? Family PC was the exhibit that I was working at then, and I had printed that out and was going to show it to Imagineering. My management actually had said they were going to be in town for a big meeting, which was going to be taking place upstairs, and I was all set to deliver on a video I had made with a wireframe walkthrough. And then last minute, I was told that because I was an attractions host, my contract would not allow me to talk with those people. So I never showed it to them. Had my whole thing ready. VHS tape in hand. I'd even made sure I got like a video, like a cassette player. I think I even brought my own cassette player from home just in case they didn't have one available. And I was ready. I was ready, rip roaring, to go and move out to California as soon as I found out that they were interested in me developing exhibits. And they said, nope, you're going to have to become unemployed, and we're not going to listen to you today, even though you spent the last month preparing for it, and we're really excited. So yeah, it's a little sad, because SIGGRAPH came to town like just maybe a couple weeks later, and I got a job at a military simulation company, so I was training Marine snipers and another Coast Guard and NASA, and I did a lot of I mean, really interesting and important work. But I mean, I was all set to. And you know, I didn't know this at the time, but there was a mentoring and a whole program that I could have, instead of working for the Prince of Abu Dhabi, which is a whole different story, down in Boca Raton, I could have actually been using my internship, which I had 3 credits hour. I left over 3 credit hours just to try to get my foot in the door, because there were no 3D company, or what do you call it? No 3D what is it called? No teaching of 3D, because it wasn't a thing. I actually had to make a 3D animation class when I was at Florida State. It just didn't exist. And so I should have taken the internship at Imagineering. That would have been the best route if I had gotten an internship, because I was going to work for free I worked for free for like 3 months over in Boca. I was living at home with my parents at the time, so that's why I kind of did that without thinking, oh, I should go to California. But I couldn't have gone to California and lived, you know, rent free. That would have been impossible in the late 90s. And so yeah, there's a lot of well, that just couldn't possibly do it that way. But maybe now, and you know, I've got a lot more understanding what I'm doing now, so maybe now is the time to attempt. Okay, there's a foot there, but it's bent. Let's see if we can do that. Ew, that's not good. I wish there was like a real rigging kind of thing, because you can't... Oh wait, I think I can make it harder. Let's see. No elastic. Turn elastic on, off. Is that on or off? I don't know. Right, size, strength is 100%. Size is big. Oh yeah, that screwed me up before. It's huge. Alright, I'll have to go back to it later. Sometimes it's better just to restart the appendage. Yeah, I'll just restart that. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's looking like Figment already. I mean, he's really iconic. He's got a lot of iconic shapes to him, so... He's an icon. Oh, actually, getting back to the imagination or Imaginarium thing. I think that we could probably have in that land, in Journey to Imagination, some really cool stuff with holograms now, because there's some hologram in a box kind of stuff that uses multiple layers of waveguides, I believe. And you could render that stuff in real time and have it running on some very nice high-end systems there. And I mean, imagine like full holographic, interactive with AI driving it so that it will say stuff to the just you know, similar stuff to what I saw with the character at Starliner. But I mean, you know, with the new Chat GPT stuff, you could probably even train it on various response types so that it will only say stuff that is okay to that character. And I think that kind of stuff mixed with and not just the volumetric waveguide stuff, but also there's the little lenslets thing. I'm not sure if that's waveguide too, but you basically have an array of lenslets that at the nanoscale you can put light back directly into someone's eye, and it takes up very little room, and it's very lightweight. That stuff, unfortunately, you can't bring it to scale yet. It's so expensive and so completely... I don't know. I don't know what technology we need to work on to get it there, because I'm not an optics person, but I definitely know that we're not too far away from a whole wall of three-dimensional stuff that basically looks like it's actually there. And so that kind of stuff will really blow people away once we get that online. And to put an interactive exhibit where you can play with stuff like this using your hands or using like tools like I'm holding here, I think a kid might pick it up and play with it for, you know, at least a couple minutes and go, wow, I want to do that. And then of course you could sell the home kit or just sell them, you know, here's imagination online. Go to whatever. Here's a new piece of software, kid. Knock yourself out. Oh, crap. Okay, well, I think that looks pretty cool. I'm going to say for now, I'll come back to this later tonight maybe, and we'll see where we are. And let me check this against the... Oh, okay, legs are not a little too long. That's okay. I'm sure as soon as I bring them in, they are going to mess up. So, yeah, I lose... every time I move stuff like this, it loses resolution somewhat, so I might need to up the res a bit. I've done this a couple times, so I'm going to... Let's see, here I need to add a increase res. Okay, so now let's try moving it a little bit, and shouldn't lose it as much as it was. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So he's got a foot, a knee, and then it just basically goes in here. He's a big boy. Okay, these arms are definitely not chunky enough. More chunk. I feel like my studying of anatomy for clinical purposes has actually really helped me in my sculpting. I really wish they had worked... Well, I didn't really take a sculpture class. I took a lot of life drawing classes, and what I really should have been taking was sculpting anatomy classes, because that would have been so much better to spend a lot of my time doing that. Not like I haven't been doing that lately. I was working on some of that kind of stuff in VR about 5 years ago. And I might get back into that. I think what I need to do is learn more about mechanics, and I would like to take a few classes on robotics to kind of put together a lot of my ideas. Okay. That's a little more chunky. Got that ulnar going on in here, and move this elbow back here. Oops. Right, his elbow. Elbow should be here, not there. Oops, nope, nope. I should take my own advice. Nope. Okay, well, I think we're about to say, let's come back to this later. And I will see you guys later on. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow night. But it is the Year of the Dragon, and the first week of the Festival of Animation, or Festival of, what is it? It's the Epcot. I'll get it right eventually. There's an art festival at Epcot right now, and of course Figment is taking over because he's cool. Okay, I think we're almost there. We're for the first pass at it. It could use a little touches here and there. It'd be nice to have a straight on. I feel like that's the puppet version of him. Like it's him as a finger puppet or something. Okay, well, we'll come back to this later. So far, so good. I will see you all later, and thank you for stopping by my stream. Oh, wait, I should probably save this first. Save, save, save. Always save. This thing really should save automatically, but okay. Saved. Bye.